Hey, welcome back everybody. This is G-Bear, G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, homestead in the desert. Hey, I almost stuttered there. Anyway, I got some work done today. The weather was really calm all day. A little on the warm side, but I got the work done. All right, you can see I got my gutters up, running all the way down to the shower. And then on top of the roof, over by the shower, I put that angle metal diverter, which is basically just a piece of edge flashing turned upside down. And then I used the plastic cement, you can see the bucket up there, to glue it down in place. And then I went to all the corners on tops of these openings on the corners where the cranes pick these things up from. They hook into those corners. Well, normally there's an opening in the top, but I didn't want water getting down inside of there and then running into the wood and inside my garage. So I capped them all off with some tar and a piece of tar paper, 80-pound composition roll, or actually cut up shingles, which is basically the same thing. Just some leftover pieces from when I did that roof over there. All right, so now this slopes down, and from this corner to right above the ladder here, that's 20 feet across, and that drops a full inch. And then from that end to this end, it drops 3/4 of an inch. And that's about 15 feet. I'm about 5 feet short of 4 feet short of the end of the container. So that would make it 16 feet because they're 10-foot sections. Okay. Now I put these little angle brackets up because you know me, I like to work smart, not hard. So I put those little angle brackets up and I shot them into the container with the self-drilling screws, and that gave me something to rest the gutter on while I was working. So I had measured down from the top at each interval and set those things exactly where they needed to be. So then when I was ready to put the gutter up, I just brought it up and rested it on those and shot screws at the top of the gutter directly into the container along that top metal piece. And then I went on top and I got my plastic cement and I sealed the seam all the way along, and I sealed all the insides of all of the couplers and the end caps, so there's no leaks. Next I'll be cutting, you see my mark right there, I'll be cutting the downspout in right there. And this is the downspout piece. So that'll go up into there. All right. So now, then right here is where I'm going to have my first flush. And basically, to explain the first flush system, this is what I'm going to be doing. All right. I won't be using the white plastic. I'll be using black ABS. And this fits in there pretty darn good, as you can see. And this is a bottle of Life Water, 33.8 fluid ounce, or the 1 liter, purified water, whatever. I didn't drink it. I found it in somebody's recycle bin, and I said, hey, can I have this? And they said, yeah, go ahead, take it. All right, so what's this for? Well, coming out of there is going to be a short piece of pipe about this length. Okay, and then it'll go into a T like this, or a Y, I'm sorry, not a T. All right, and then there'll be another piece coming off of the bottom there, going down and coming to about this level here, probably 6 feet, 7 feet down from the gutter up there. All right, then this one will have a piece that runs over to the top of the container And there'll be a connector going into the top cap of the container where the rainwater can flow and go in. Now, the way the first flush system works, this bottle will be down inside this pipe, which is going to be the same size pipe as this, like this, okay? Now, inside of the Y, right inside here, and I'll probably use a Santee that has a sweep on it like this, so it points straight over towards the containers instead of down on a 45-degree angle. But it'll be a black ABS one. Okay, so this will be down in the pipe, upside down, just like this, with the cap on. So this is a float device. Okay, so this will be down inside that pipe. And when water starts coming down off the roof, the first 5, 6, 7 gallons or so of water is going to have all kinds of bird poop and sand and dust and grit and who knows what in it. So I don't want that going down and this way and into my totes and my tank. So this will be down inside of here, and there'll be a cap at the bottom of the pipe with a valve that I can use to drain the water out whenever I want to. So as the water comes in here, it's going to go straight down, of course. That's what it wants to do. And then it's going to start filling up that pipe down here because it's capped off at the bottom. So this thing is going to float up. And as it floats up, inside of the Santee that I'm going to have, I'll have a ring inserted just before the pipe goes into it. That's a little bit smaller than the pipe itself. So this is going to become a seal up against that when it fills up. And the pressure of the water itself is going to lock this in place. And when it does that, the water has to be diverted this way. So now the clean water will go into my totes, and this will stay in there until I'm ready and the rain has stopped. Then I'll come over and I'll put a bucket underneath there, and I'll drain off that dirty water with the nitrogen from the bird's poop and all of that stuff in it. And I'll take it over to the garden or the compost pile, and I'll pour it in so the water doesn't get wasted. But I'm going to have mostly clean water going into my totes. All right. Now, one other thing I'm going to do is up at the top, at the downspout up there, in the gutter, I'm going to have some fine mesh screen in a cone sitting down inside of that. So that's going to keep any large debris flow from getting down inside of here, like leaves and things like that. And also it's going to keep bugs, gnats, flies, all of those types of things from being able to get through and down into my water tank. The cone will be just about like the size of this this bottle, but right about end where my thumb is, and it'll have the top sealed off with screen, and it'll be fine mesh screen, so even the smallest bugs can't get through, but not so fine that it clogs up every 20 minutes. Probably 32nd inch holes in it. So that'll be up on top of there, standing like this, so the water can come from all directions and flow down into there, but the bugs and the leaves and that stuff can't get down inside. All right, not a bad plan, huh? All right, so I'm going to put this down inside of a bucket down here. Don't want the wind to take those to another town. All right. So the other thing I did today was, besides taking a really neat nap after lunch, I had a Portuguese linguiça sandwich with cheddar cheese on a French roll and some homemade potato chips and some iced coffee with the leftover coffee from this morning's coffee. All right, so the other thing I did was I completely cleaned out the girl's cage, and I put some straw in their barrel because they've been hunkering down in that barrel at night, afraid to go into the coop. But I noticed that one of them was also scratching her neck, and she got a bunch of feathers off of her neck. So she's been getting into some probably either ants or whatever that's been getting to her and causing irritation on her neck. So I dusted them all down with diatomaceous earth. And they didn't like it very much, but they got it. And now they're going into their little barrel there to hunker down because it's starting to get late. But they'll won't mind going in here. I took the peppermint oil and I soaked the 2x4s all the way around their door. And then I soaked the ramp down about 3 or 4 steps. So if the rat is coming in and going up the ramp to go inside there, it's going to meet that peppermint oil and go, hey, wait a minute, I don't like this. All right, then inside, I was using the straw, but something got into my straw and tore it all up. So I had to use my wood shavings, which I understand is a decent nesting for them. I really don't like the wood shavings. I prefer straw. But as you can see inside here, everything's nice and clean. And I got all of the nestings all cleaned out. And then I soaked the entrances, the baseboard at the entrance there, with peppermint oil. So we don't have to worry about the rats anymore. And one thing I did find is that if something large was getting in there, then they had to have a way of getting in. Well, I noticed that here and here, the wire was untwisted. See how these are twisted? And then this was bent. So something put its claw or paw in there and opened this up enough so it was a larger hole so something could fit through there. So I rewired it and tied it back down again there and there. And then I walked around and checked to make sure there were no other places like that. And I don't know if it was a flaw in the in the wire or something else, but I corrected it so nothing large can get through there. And I think what I'm going to do is get some more aviary wire and coat this whole thing down with aviary wire. Then the ground squirrels can't get in there and eat this stuff. The rats, they could probably still get in there because rats can get in something the size of a dime, and the aviary wire is actually a 1/2 inch, about the size of a dime. So they could probably still get through if they wanted to, but the ground squirrels and the birds, the local birds and that stuff, won't be able to get in there anymore. And that's going to save me a ton of money on chicken feed because they wipe through my chicken feed in no time. All right, that's all there is to it, everybody. Beautiful sunset tonight. A little bit of breeze blowing, turning my turbine. It's too slow to actually be producing any electricity, but it does start spinning at 7 miles per hour, but it doesn't start producing until 9 miles per hour. And right now it's only about 7, it might even only be 6. But when that thing starts spinning, it's already spinning, so a 6-mile-an-hour wind will keep it spinning. All right, that's it. Looks like the birds are already found their little openings in the top of the container over there, and gonna go inside and build themselves nests in those corners now. Get ready for the winter. Not bad. All right, that's it, everybody. G-Bear reminding you to give me a thumbs up down there. Don't forget to like my videos. And if you have any questions, send them along in the comment section. I'd be glad to answer whatever I can. But please don't ask me about security and things like that. I don't get personal on the answers that I'm going to give out. And I don't want to talk about my security because I don't want people that are watching this. The good people, I don't mind. But there are bad people out there watching things like this, and they're picking up information that they can use that I don't like. So, and like the old saying goes, it's against federal law to set booby traps. And all you have to ask yourself is, does this guy give a shit about federal law? All right. G Bear signing off.